These are the 6 tools that I believe you need to know about if you want to become a top bioinformatician. This applies for anyone who is a beginner, intermediate, or even at an advanced level. I'd want to know also what you think below in the comment section, what tools I have failed to mention within what I'm talking about. This is tool number 1, programming and statistical analysis. You are not going to run away from any form of programming, whether in Python or in R, and most importantly, using command line, Linux or Unix based kind of platforms. So, whatever you're thinking about, if you want or you plan to be a bioinformatician, you need to be able at least to use a terminal, number 1, because most of the servers, most of the analysis, most of the things you will be doing will be via a terminal. Number 2, master Python or master R. If you can master both of them, I mean not like up to advanced level, but at least when you can do the basic things, installation, writing basic commands, you can build on from there. You really need that. Number 2, you need to know about the biological databases. So there are so many databases that do hold all types of information. NCBI, which is for different DNA, for all sorts of organisms. Uniprot, which has protein information. Protein data bank, it has protein information. There are so many other specialized databases that do even, for example, it can only hold information about fungus, hold information about microorganisms, hold information about crops. So depending on what you think you may work on, you may need to have knowledge about these databases. Reason being is that these databases do give free access to data. Data set is there free of charge. You can literally download, play around with it, perform some analysis. You can even perform a full-blown master's project using the free data from the databases. So you need to acquaint yourself with those databases. Then you have then to know about some specialized tools that do some basic analysis. Analysis like if you download sequences, you need to do quality control. So you check for bad reads. You trim them off. Remove adapters which have been put during the sequencing time from the lab. How do you do that? How about you do pairwise alignment? You get a reference sequence with your sequence of choice. Try to see whether what was the sequence you're dealing with, was it correctly sequenced? Is it accurate enough? Are there variations? So just that basic kind of alignment analysis, quality control, I think it is a first good step to everything. So depending, so if you're dealing with, if you think you'll be dealing with a human data set, again, read around, let's say quality control of human data set, the biological data set, the DNA, RNA, all that information. Just know about those basic quality control. The rest can follow depending on what your research question will answer. So basic alignment tools, you need to know them. Things like the the trimming tools, things like the QC, like the fast QC, the multi QC. Those tools you need to know about them. Then you can't know everything. That's why you need a learning community. There are so many communities online that you can just post your questions. Okay, or there are so many other communities online. If you post your question, people can give you answers to your questions. um, Commonly I do prefer, if let's say you're using a given tool and then you get stuck on the way, you may look for a community with that tool and then you post a question there. You're likely to get answers that directly applies to you. So any form of community is very, very important. It can also be offline community, for example, different research groups, either at your institution or where you're volunteering, where you're doing internship from. There are so many research groups available. If they do have weekly or monthly presentation, you can be part of those presentation. you'll be able to learn along the way very, very fast. So many questions you can just find it answered on those forums, either online or offline. If you have so many questions bothering you, you attending those meetings or you going online and searching those forums, you may have your questions answered even without asking someone. So communities are very, very important. Then lastly, in my opinion, is knowing how to do workflows and work management. So things like if you have designed your code and it's working, how do you keep it? How do you share it? Let's say with the professor or with the world. uh where do you put it? So things like using a GitHub, you must preferably should have a GitHub repository where you always be storing your information, your codes, everything. So in case you lose your PC, your codes and all those will be available at GitHub. Even it's a way of contributing. Yeah, if you have a community, be like, okay, I perform this analysis. This is my code. You can access it via GitHub. It will offer you that free kind of web kind of a website for you. But there are also so many other workflow management things like Docker or Singularity. In case you have like now a fully blown software or a tool you want some people to use, you can package it into a Docker container, and then somebody can just put it within the system and utilize whatever you have designed for them. Of course, that is high level. Now later, when you're deep into the analysis, but at least the basic of having a GitHub repository is very, very important. Some other additional tips that I could give you is number one, try to read as many research papers as possible. At your early stage, things may be too complicated for you to understand. But just try to go through, read, go through, read, go through. As time gets by, some terms will start appearing familiar. You start realizing that if I get a paper in this topic, these are the key terms that tend to appear. These are the key areas that they tend to look at. So even if you have to design a new project, at least you'll be having a clear idea what you may be required to do at the end of the day. The other additional tip that I can give you is to go hands-on. I tend to prefer doing things hands-on. So for example, I ask myself a research question like, hmm, um, can I be able to obtain a genetic variant in a given microorganism? How would I do that? Then I try to go and download sequences, try to read around on the forums, or look for ways of finding that answer, and then you try to do it practically. You'll have much more understanding of whatever you want to do. Even when you have to design your proposal, let's say for your research, I always prefer that if you could do a very small basic analysis, just a first step, for example, of your analysis, you'll have a general clue of what everything will go. So it's important, in my opinion, to start just do something small along the way. Research internship, let's say after your first year of masters, or if you have a way of getting internship, would be a great way to start, where you have an individual project, you run from start to the end for like 2 or 3 months. It is a great way to go, and you get feedbacks from people. Lastly, using AI. So AI is everywhere and it can be a great tool for self-learning. Most of the time, I found it has helped, though sometimes it may not give you a very good answer to what you're looking for. For example, if you're looking for something too specific and it's too new, those AI will not be having answers for them, and so they may end up complicating things for you. But if something you're looking for is old, for example, what is the best tool to do quality control? What is the best platform to use to do this? There are those old-fashioned kind of things that you can use AI to get answers for. And if something is too complicated or too new that you cannot get good answers from AI, then you can approach a supervisor or someone experienced, then they can give you a good answer for it. Do you relate with what I've said? Is there something that I could have left out that you'd want others to know? Let me know within the comment section. And if you're doing bioinformatics, how is it going? Or if you have noticed, do you plan to join it? Let me know within the comment section. See you next time.